Hello everyone and welcome to class of Route 53. Today in our class we are going to discuss about how to register domain name. So we will discuss about registering domain names. So suppose we require to create a website or any web application. So how do we start? So we have to start with registering the name of our websites, which is known as domain name. Domain name is a name. Suppose we are having example.com. The user enter this domain name into the browser and we have display of the websites. So we will discuss what is the process and how to register a domain. So first of all, the very first process that we have to choose a domain name. And then we need to confirm that whether this domain name is available or not. Or anyone else has registered with the same name. Suppose if the selected domain name is already in use, then we require to try the other names by changing the top level domain. Suppose we are having example.com. We want to create example.com but it is already created. So we require to change the top level domain. Suppose we can change from .com to .org. So we can change to any .hockey anything. Then register the domain name with Amazon Route 53. When user can register a domain, the user must provide the name and the contact information for the domain owner and other contacts as well. When the domain get registered with Amazon Route 53, the service automatically make the following changes. Like it will create a hosted zone, it will assign name servers to the hosted zone. Hosted zones are basically the name server which tell the browser that where your resources are, whether they are in a web server or any S3 bucket. After that, create the name server gets the name server for hosted zone and adds them to domain. At the end of the registration process, AWS sends user information to registrar for the domain. Now it will send the user information for the registrar. After that, the registrar send the user information for registry. The registry stores the information what user has entered. The domain registrar is either Amazon Registrar INC or any associated registrar. Registry, as we know, it is a company that sells domain registrations for one or more TLDs, like .com. After that, how to route internet traffic to a particular web application or a website. Now, all computers on the internet, smartphones, laptop, tablets, that serves content video websites communicate with one another using numbers. Numbers are basically IP addresses. It can support IPv4, IPv6. A DNS service like we have Route 53. It helps you to make connection between your domain names of the websites and IP addresses. So we require to configure Amazon Route 53 so that it can route internet traffic to various domains. So to route traffic to user resources, we require to create resource record set, which is also known as records. It consists of name, type and value. What is there in the name? The name of the record corresponds to domain name like example.com or its subdomain like www.example.com or retail.example.com. That user want to Amazon Route 53 to route traffic for. The name of every record in a hosted zone must end with name of hosted zone. For example, if name of the hosted zone is example.com, so all records must end in example.com. The Route 53 console does this automatically for you. Next we have type. That means a record type. Record type usually determines the type of resource that you want traffic to be routed to. For example, to route traffic to an email server, we specify MX for type. The route traffic for a web server that has an IPv4, IPv6 address, you specify A for type. Value is closely related to type. If you specify MX for type, you specify name of one or more email servers for value. If you specify A for type, you specify IP addresses in IPv4 format. So, how it route traffics? After configuring Amazon Route 53 to route internet traffic to a particular resources, then what happens? Let's see. So this is the end user. So first of all, we will start with the first step. A user opens a web browser and enters www.example.com in the address bar and press enter. When it press enter, the request goes to, like this is the request number 2 step. The request for www.example.com goes to DNS resolver. This DNS resolver is typically managed by internet service provider such as cable internet provider or DSL broadband provider or any corporate network. So we have the DNS resolver for the internet service provider. It forwards the request of example.com to DNS root name server. So we can see third step. This is a request, it forward to DNS root name server by internet service provider. The DNS resolver for the ISP forward the request for www.example.com again, this time to top level domain name servers for .com domains. The name server respond with the request of 4 root name servers again, like go to the name server .com TLD, go to the root 53 name server that are associated with example.com. The DNS resolver for the ISP choose the Amazon Route 53 name resolver and forward to the name server. This is the Amazon Route 53 name server looks for example.com hosted zone and get an associated value like IP address. We can see here. And returns the IP address to DNS resolver. The DNS resolver for the internet service provider finally has an IP address that user needs. This resolver returns the value to the web browser. Now we have number 7, this IP address to the web browser. Note, the DNS resolver also caches, that means stores the IP addresses for the amount of time you specify so that it can respond more quickly the next time you type example.com. So suppose in a browser, the very first time we have type any address, it goes to DNS resolver. For the next time it's stored, it cache it so that the process will be fast. After that, the web browser sends a request for www.example.com to IP address that it has got from the DNS resolver. This is where the content is, for example, web server running on Amazon EC2 instance or any S3 bucket that has configured a website endpoint. So after that, the web server or resource at the particular web page, it will be displayed for the end users. So this is the complete process how we can register a domain and how traffic flows. So today in this class we have discussed about how to register domain names. Then we have discussed about routing internet traffic. And then we have seen the process of routing of internet traffic. Thank you so much.